installation. So it's programmable LEDs that are hanging in the air, controlled by threads, and they're making all these peculiar shapes and changing colors. And it's a very meditative experience if you just slow down and look how smooth what the flow is. So I think, yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. And everyone has a different interpretation of this. Like some people see it as a DNA, some people see it as like a Hong Kong dragon because it's red. So it opens a lot of opportunities for your imagination, right? Then we're going back to interactive installations where we're using pressure sensors. They are embedded into the ground as you step onto the pad. The burst of colors are projected onto the wall. And here's a generative art. And every time you step on it, it's going to be a different color, different shape, and it's never the same, right? We have also partnered with award-winning fractal artists who produced a 10-minute fractal film called Cyber City. This is the shot from the film. These are two other frames, and it's going to be projected on a 10-meter wide screen. So it's like, I think it's like this wall. And it's a completely dark environment, and it will feel like you're flying across this futuristic city because you don't see anything else. We're using very high quality projections to render a very high fidelity images. We have also partnered with a Hollywood composer who is right now recording a film score for this piece. And the last chapter of the experience is Ultra. It's an audiovisual tunnel that is teleporting you back to the reality and the real world. So this is a rendering of the last installation. So did I also mention that we also have a bar area in the space, and where you can just like go down and have a drink. And in the interior design, we're using advanced materials. For example, the benches that you see here made of fiberglass. There's 3 meters long and with embedded LEDs. So all these small details, they're complementing the whole experience. As you can see, we're using many different technologies in the exhibition, but we don't stop there. We want to think about the whole user experience holistically from beginning to end and provide this most futuristic user experience across all the touch points. So the first interaction happens on our website. We build our own ticketing system where you can choose a time slot for every 10 minutes. We want to control the number of people we have in the space and also eliminate any kind of queues at the entrance because we believe there is no lines in the future, right? And the registration is a very simple form, user-friendly, and then we can also customize your ticket. So you can, by creating a digital identity, and we put you in an augmented reality mode where you can choose in between 4 digital identities representing classical elements like fire, water, air, and earth. If you want to check them out and try them on, you can do on our Instagram page, we_teleport. And once you complete your registration and pay for your ticket, then you get this badge, which is a ticket with your name, with your identity, with the date and time of the exhibition. And it does look like a boarding pass than just a ticket. And you can also, if you don't want to use your identity, you're a shy person, you can use a QR code as well. So when you come into the exhibition, you see the self-check-in kiosk and also our beautiful experience managers that are who are wearing this custom-made uniforms. So we partnered with a computational designer who created all these beautiful patterns, and we're using reflective materials to create the clothing. And this is a prototype. We're gonna make some changes to it, adding some 3D elements, 3D printed elements on top of it. But you can get a feel of the direction, right? So we positioning ourselves as a premium entertainment experience. Our ticket price range is 300 to 500 Hong Kong dollars per adult, and we can host 60 people in an hour at a time as well, because we don't want to have too many people, because otherwise the experience is going to be ruined, right? And depending on the weekday or weekends and the time of entrance, the price is going to be different. So we projecting 60,000 visitors in the 6 months of the exhibition, promoting our product to Gen Z, millennials, experts, locals, people who are interested in photography, art, design, technology, science fiction, and so on. We have a comprehensive brand strategy with public relations, social media, influencer marketing, and so on. But now I want you to take a break, actually, and take a pause to think what teleport actually is and what it actually can be. Because in my opinion, you see a lot of things in there, but it's still this empty black canvas. What we want to do is we want to be this discovery destination that can bring something new every time you go in and see something that you've never seen before. Whether it's a piece of art, whether it's a technology, whether it's a customer service or a brand or a product or a story or even performing arts, right? Because we can use the space for live events, music and dance and theater and so on. The way we curate the experience and the artwork, the same way we can also curate the products and brands you can have in the space that complement the whole vibe, right? And companies in consumer electronics like finance, insurance, and telecom, and why not? They will have a chance to connect organically with their customers very naturally, and giving them a very long-lasting memories and impressions. So we have very ambitious plans. We plan to launch a new Experium every 6 months, starting in Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai next year, and Seoul and Tokyo in 2023. While we also want to update content and expositions in our existing locations twice a year to allow this continuous exploration and also let our existing customers become our repeat customers as well. So we believe that this model can be scaled around the world and envision Teleport to become a global brand with locations across Asia, Europe, and US within the next 5 to 10 years. Thank you. If you want to be teleported, you can get our tickets on our website, weteleport.com. Thank you. And if you have questions, I'm really happy to answer. Yeah.
Good audience.
Yeah.
Good size. Thanks for coming. Hopefully you're as excited as I am about this. Does anyone have any questions? Sure, there must be some. Go, Song.
Any experience, or if you have any kind of proposal or thoughts how you can work with different brands in different industries?
Let me just repeat that for the people online. Song's asking whether how he's going to work with different brands and industries.
Yeah, at this point, we focus on creating the best-in-class experience, and then as we build the space, then I'm sure there will be brands who would come to us and say, can you do something? And then we'll say, yeah, sure, let's work together on implementing all those different products or solutions or services in like seamlessly into our space, because experience is the number one thing, but then everything else is like an extra thing how you can add things to it. But at this point, we don't work with any brands on this first edition, to answer your question.
Anyone else? I'm going to dig in. What I think is kind of fascinating is that you're needing to make a new lexicon to explain it, like Experium, like
Experium,
digital. I mean, it's because it's so new, and I think people struggle to get their heads around. And like I say, to me, it's very reminiscent of 20 odd years ago at the start of the web. I agree and love what you're saying. I think these things feel magical, and that's what I think is the experience. And like you say, it's something that you then take away. Mm-hmm. So I don't know whether you saw me post on Yammer, but apparently TeamLab is according to Tatler, it's put in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most visited museum in the world. I think that bears that this is...
And like 3 million people, I think, yeah.
3.2 million people have been to TeamLab in Tokyo, which is amazing if no one's been. I mean, he mentions TeamLab here. I don't want to make too many parallels with it, but it's the closest thing.
Yeah, for sure. We can make parallels, and it's a great thing that they exist, because they are these first movers. And how we're different is that we have very different narratives, and we're producing very different kind of content. It's one thing. Another thing is that if you've been to TeamLab, it's a very, very beautiful like space. You know, everything you see is so good, like looking, and especially for your pictures. But when it comes to the storytelling, when it comes to okay, but what's next? Okay, I see these butterflies, I see this waterfalls, I did this, but then like, can I have something? Like also, what we're trying to do, we want to push this storytelling element to this experiences, and that's how we different. And another thing how we very different is the model how we work, because everything that you see in TeamLab is produced by an in-house TeamLab team. And in our case, we are this open platform that welcomes all sort of creatives from anywhere in the world to come in and bring in the concepts, and then we can put it all together in one space. So to answer your question.
That must be quite difficult to produce.
Yeah, but also it's easy because you never run out of creativity, because there are so many people who have things to show, you know, and then work on. So yeah, that's good.
So how did you decide on how did you curate these artists? Did they come to you? Did you find them?
Yeah, because we're just starting out. No one knows about Teleport yet. So I had to personally reach out to every one of them. And I spent hundreds of hours on Instagram doing my research, because you immediately see the feel, like what the direction of these artists are, what they can produce, what's the limitations, like who those people are. And then you reach out to them, you present the concept, and then you have this back and forth. So it takes a lot of time to also navigate the art, because we are very involved into every single installation that you see in terms of some creative direction as well.
I think that's one of the amazing things that I think Edward's done, is like bring all this together, not just curate it, but also produce it, get funding for it. Do you want to tell us a bit about the funding?
Yeah, it was hard. That's what I can say, because when you do something that's very few people has experienced, especially the investors, then it's hard to tell them, have you been to like Burning Man? Have you been to Wonderford? Have you felt like this kind of? And I mean, it doesn't really strike them. So they're like, okay, then how is this something? So it was hard, but we managed. It took us quite some time, but yeah.
And if it's not clear, just to underline why I thought this is important to us, that whole storytelling, experience, like making a destination for people to come to, and God, I hate using the word over and over, but experience. Like, I think this is going to be the future of entertainment of physical spaces, which will at some point include the store. So that's what I'm most interested in.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any other questions? Must be some. Don't be shy.
It's okay.
Okay. Well, we said half an hour. We always try and stick to half an hour. So thank you very much for joining us today, and thanks to Edward for this. And
thank you.
Let's look forward to it in November.
End of November. Yeah.